Hello everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your aspiring teacher, Miss Ladyjane.r. Today, we are going to have a very exciting journey because this vlog takes part of my college and towards professionalism. So now we are going to enlighten ourselves about the different approaches to material adaptation. So this discussion explores the constructing philosophies of teacher-centered and learner-centered approaches to materials adaptation in education. Both methods aim to enhance learning, but they differ significantly in their focus and implementation. In a teacher-centered approach, the teacher is the primary authority and decision maker regarding material adaptation. The focus is on transmitting knowledge and skills for the teacher to the learner. This approach often involves predetermined curriculum, direct instruction, assessment-driven adaptation. So teachers select and adapt materials based on their own expertise and establish curriculum with minimal input from learners. Teachers deliver information through lectures, demonstrations, and guided practice, where learners are expected to absorb and replicate the presented materials. Teachers also adapt materials primarily to ensure alignment with assessment to measure student progress. Now, here are some advantages of teacher-centered adaptation. First, structure and clarity, efficiency, and teacher expertise. So it provides a clear framework for a learner, ensuring students receive consistent information and guidance. It allows for efficient delivery of content, particularly in large classes or when covering a broad syllabus. Leverage the teacher's knowledge and experience to create relevant and effective materials. On the other hand, there are some disadvantages of teacher-centered adaptation, which is limited learner engagement, ignores individual needs, and potential for bias. So this can lead to passive learning and a lack of student ownership in the learning process. It may not cater to diverse learning styles, interests, or prior knowledge. Now let us proceed on what is a learner-centered approach. So this approach focuses on the shift to the learner's needs, interests, and learning styles. Teachers act as facilitators, guiding learners to actively participate in the learning process and take ownership of their learning. Here are some features of learner-centered approach. First, it is learner-driven adaptation, collaborative learning, and flexible materials, where teachers involve learners in the adaptation process, considering their input and preferences. It encourages group work, peer-to-peer learning, and active discussion to foster deeper understanding and engagement. Also, teachers adapt materials to be flexible, providing learners with choices and opportunities for self-directed learning. Now let's proceed to some advantages of learner-centered adaptation. First, it increases motivation, personalized learning, and allows individuals to have critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So learners are more engaged and motivated when they feel involved in the learning process. Caters to individual needs and learning styles, foster deeper understanding and skill development. Also, it encourages learners to think critically, analyze information, and solve problems independently. On the other hand, let us discuss the disadvantages of learner-centered adaptation. First, it's structure and consistency, teacher expertise, and time management. So this can be challenging to maintain structure and consistency in large classes or when covering a wide range of topics. It requires teachers to be skilled facilitators and to be comfortable relinquishing some control over the learning process. It may require more time and effort for teachers to adapt materials and facilitate learner-driven activities. So, in conclusion, both teacher-centered and learner-centered approaches to materials adaptation have their strengths and weaknesses. The most effective approach often depends on the specific learner context, learner characteristics, and teacher expertise. Ideally, a balanced approach that incorporates elements of both philosophies can create a more engaging and effective learning environment. Now, to deal with the real world and share her expertise in the field of education, let us welcome teacher Chia May Rosalejos on the other line.
Good morning, I'm Chia May Rosalejos from Holy Trinity Child Development School Incorporated. I am now in my 8 years in service. I have so many experience about my pupils, but again, I believe that every student has a potential to excel, and my goal is to create a supportive and engaging learning environment where they can thrive. And I am currently in the office. Previous years, I am in handling grade 1 for 2 years, grade 2 for 2 years, and on my 4th year, I handled computer subject from 1 to 6, and from last year, for my 7th year, I am handling a nursery. So I have so many experience about the teaching and also for the student.
Hello, Teacher Shamay. It's nice to meet you. How are you today, and how are you with your profession?
How am I? So I'm very much happy, and I am deeply passionate about my profession. I find immense joy in witnessing my pupils' growth and seeing them achieve their full potentials. The challenges that come with teaching are opportunities for learning and growth, and I embrace them with enthusiasm. And I am very happy because I saw my students how they are today, and currently our students is on the senior high school, and they are very competitive, and that is my first batch and my first year in teaching. So I'm very happy because they achieve what they want fully today.
Well, that is so inspiring for me to look forward. However, in terms of teaching, what strategy do you usually apply? Are you more on learner-centered approach or teacher-centered approach?
So I applied for my 8 years as also our NSETs or seminars. It is very much important that our pupils is the center or the learner-centered approach to teaching, where students are actively involved in the learning process. I strive also to create a classroom where students feel empowered to explore their own interests. In a sense, there are many unique students and also different interests also. So I also ask questions and take ownership of their learning. I often incorporate elements for the inductive teaching approach, where students are encouraged to discover concepts through explorations and inquiries. So it is very important that we teachers we should put our students or pupils at the center of that education.
Well, since you have mentioned that you are more on student-centered, how do you select your learning materials to meet the diverse needs of your learners?
Probably, as an elementary teacher, we need to have a very much creative and let the pupils catch their attentions. No, all the teachers also are very much creative the way we teach. So I carefully select learning materials that are engaging. Why? Because other students might not listen to you if your materials or your discussions also might be boredom to them. Okay, and also relevant and aligned with the curriculum standard. That is very much important, that the teachers must follow the curriculum standards in order for us to attain the learnings of the students. And also, I prioritize materials that cater to diverse learning styles and promote critical thinking, problem solving, and collaborations. I also incorporate real world examples. Nowadays, it is very important that we also relate it in the reality. Why? It's because students nowadays are very much knowledgeable and also make learning more meaningful and relevant to the students' lives. That is very much important.
Very well said, Teacher Shame. Thank you so much. I will surely apply your way of teaching someday. So that will be all for this vlog, and let us all remember the ultimate goal for teachers is to create a dynamic and interactive learning experience that empowers learners to become active participants in their own education. Thank you!